talk about hard for a second. Life is hard. It's hard to be broke. It's hard to have money and manage it. It's hard to work for someone else. It's hard to work for yourself. Life is hard. So you guys need to decide today, what hard are you going to choose? Embrace it. Run into the hard. Every time we do something hard, there's so much growth on the other end of it. And you just have to put things into perspective. You're not going to die.
What's your plan for tomorrow? Are you a leader or will you follow? Are you a fighter or will you cower? It's our time to take back the power. What's your plan?
Welcome to the Rebel Show with Bree Mesquit. I'm Bree Mesquit, and I'm so excited. This is episode number 1, and today I'm going to start off by sharing first the definition of rebel and kind of setting the tone for what this podcast is going to be about, and then also go through the importance of self-development. So Chance and I, my husband, whom we both work full-time together here, we're actually in our warehouse right now in our new office space that he and his dad built out for me in my little podcasting nook, which I'm so excited about. But we work full-time together, so we're really going to be focusing on entrepreneurship, what it's like to work with your spouse, and all things waxing, of course, as well. So let's get started. I am going to first read you the definition of rebel. So a rebel entrepreneur, they challenge the norm. They question authority and embrace individuality. Rebels cannot be placed in a box. They defy conventional expectations, forge their own paths. It's a mindset that seeks change, freedom, and authenticity in the face of industry, expectations, and adversity. I love that definition so much, and it totally embraces just what we are about as a brand, as a company, as individuals. I have been a rebel from out of the womb. I have been a rebel from day one, and you guys will hear a little bit more of my story in further episodes as well. But today I really want to talk about personal development, why it's important, and I want to make sure with every single episode that you guys get extreme value and actionable steps that you can start implementing in your life immediately, so that you guys can promote change and start working towards your goals and whatever it is that you guys want to achieve in life. I want to be a cheerleader for you and a source of information and just a guiding, helping hand. So we're going to start with just talking about personal development, why it's important. So your level of success will never surpass your level of personal development. So a little bit about me. I was born and raised in Huntington Beach, California. Unfortunately, when I was 3, my mom passed away from toxic shock syndrome from tampon usage, which I definitely want to talk about that in a further episode. I think it's really important for women to be aware of that and have these conversations with their daughters, etc. But I was raised by my grandma, and she would always have little cassettes playing with personal development. I'm pretty sure she was listening to Tony Robbins, or if she was involved in like a network marketing group, they would have their own, personal development cassette tapes. Yes, cassette tapes. Like, yeah, it's crazy to look back on. I feel like a lot of you watching this are probably like, what the heck is a cassette? But anyways, I'd be in the back seat, and it definitely started planting seeds for me. One story that was really cute and funny that she used to tell me is she was part of a company. I forget what multi-level marketing company it was, but they had different tiers that you could reach. And the top level was called a diamond. So she was listening to her stuff, and all of a sudden in the back seat, she said she heard 4-year-old little voice, me kept saying, I want to be a diamond. So it's so crucial when you guys are on the path of personal development. It not only is for yourself, but it's for your spouse, for your family. It's going to benefit your children. It's going to benefit everyone that is around you. But I was exposed to it, and I'm really grateful for that from my grandma at such a young age. But once I started to really get into it for myself, I probably was about 17, 18. I'd start attending seminars and just really like dove in because I knew that I had bigger dreams than what my family was doing themselves. So my family, my grandpa, whom I was raised by as well, climbed the corporate ladder. He calls himself an old cracker stacker, which I find hilarious because he worked his way up from being a box boy at Rouse up to he was the vice president. Then my grandma, she came from really rough background, and I'd love to share some of her story on a future episode as well. But she started as a bank teller at Bank of America and worked her way up to VP of Bank of America. So I come from definitely a very strong family, but they were working in the corporate world. Then my aunt, my mom's sister, she followed the same path. She started working and there's nothing wrong with this at all, but I just knew that it was not the path that I wanted to take for myself. Hence, being a rebel. I've been a rebel for a very long time. I broke those norms and I paved my own path for sure, especially when it came to just my family line. So, how the heck do we get started with personal development if you guys have never been exposed to it? Like what do you do? How do you get started? So I have 5 points for you that I want to share. So first is it starts with self-awareness. You really need to be able to be truthful and honest with yourself, take a good hard look at yourself and say, what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What are my values? And then what are the goals that I want to achieve? Once you get that nailed down, then everything else will follow. So you're going to want to make sure you're really reflecting and being truthful and honest with yourself, especially on those strengths and weaknesses. Very, very important. Then you're going to want to set some goals. What is it that you want to achieve? Is it business? Do you want to increase your clientele? Increase your profit? Do you want to become a better mom? Do you want to become a better dad? A better wife? Your goal doesn't always have to pertain to business. Of course, most of us here are in the beauty industry, are waxers. We are building our own businesses. So I'm going to kind of be talking about personal development when it comes to building your businesses. But these things can be applied regardless of what your goal is. So you want to be very clear on your goal. So one quote that my grandma used to tell me all the time, I don't know who the original author of this quote would be, a goal without a date is only a dream. So you want to get really specific. What's your goal? What's your dream? And then when do you want to achieve it by? And then we're going to work backwards from there to give you guys actionable bite-sized steps to actually work there towards your goal and make it a reality. When we just have these dreams and we don't write it down and we're not very specific, it stays that, just a dream, just something we talk about. You guys will get to know with me that I am not one that likes to sit here and just talk. I like to take action. And when people come to me and they share their dreams and their goals and their hopes, I absolutely get so invested. My brain the wheels start turning. I'm thinking of all the ways I can help to actually make this a reality. But it's up to you guys to actually take action on these things and take the steps necessary and work towards those goals. Okay, so after you know your goals, then what you're going to want to do is you are becoming a student again, okay? So we're going to be reading books that pertain to our goal. We can take courses, attend seminars. My husband and I just came back from Utah this past weekend. I'm not sure when this episode is going to launch, so it might be a few months out at this point of you guys listening to this episode. But we came back from Utah. We went to the Limitless event in Salt Lake, Utah, and it was phenomenal. We got to hear from 24 different speakers. If you guys can attend a seminar in person like that, I highly recommend it. The energy and the excitement is just it's hard to explain the experience. I encourage you to experience it for yourself. But you also want to make sure, because life hits you hard after these things, okay? It's all excitement and you're all hyped up, and then you get home and you're back to reality. And it's really important every time I attend a seminar or something like this, I make sure that I am writing down at least 3 takeaways and actionable steps that I can start implementing, and I implement it the moment I get home. So that's just a little side note on seminars. You get once you guys attend one, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. You are so excited. You are so hyped up. You have just these huge dreams and aspirations, and you tell yourself you're going to do all these things. And then once you get home, and a lot of times life hits you even harder because that is the adversary trying to stop you from moving closer to your dream. So be prepared on that note. But books, courses, seminars and workshops, mentorship and coaching. My husband and I have recently started, actually it's been probably 6 months at this point. We hired a business coach, and he's a mentor overall in life. And it's been a hard but amazing experience. He has stretched us so far outside of our comfort zone, but the results that we're seeing are like absolutely insane, including me doing this podcast. I have dreamt of doing this a podcast for a very, very long time, but now we're actually doing it, taking the action, and we have someone that's guiding us on how to execute. So it's one thing to have these goals, but sometimes it's really difficult for us to know, especially when you're embarking on like a new venture. It can be hard to know exactly how to execute on it. So that's what a coach and a mentor can be really great for, is helping you turn those dreams into a reality by helping you with those actionable steps. So that's an option. And then of course, podcasts, YouTube, like we have it's a blessing and a curse, I feel, with how much information we have at our fingertips. You don't want to get stuck in analysis paralysis, where you're just constantly consuming information, but then not putting it into play and not doing anything with it. So many people get really stuck in just researching and preparing, but never pull the trigger and never go. You will never get the experience quite like actually doing the thing, whatever it is. So personally right now, I'm doing cold calling. I've never done cold calling before. It terrifies me. I hate it. My palms get sweaty. I'm like, my phone feels like it weighs a ton, like a ton of bricks when I'm going to pick it up to make that call. I really got stuck in this whole analysis paralysis recently myself. I was listening to podcasts about cold calling, reading about cold calling, YouTubing, TikTok, all the things, but I never did it. So one day I finally was like, this is enough. I need to just do it scared. That's one of my favorite lines, is like, just do it scared. So my husband and I were actually in the pickup line waiting to pick up our children from school. We were 15 minutes early. I was like, you know what? I'm going to make those calls. The first 3 calls, first of all, I didn't die, okay? I'm still here. Everything was fine. Yes, I fumbled some of my words. Like, it's okay. But I did it, and I learned so much more from that 5 to 10 minutes of making those 3 calls than I did in the hours and hours and hours of consuming content about cold calling. So my takeaway for you guys from this is just like, do the thing. Like, you don't stop aiming, and never pulling the trigger. Like, it's okay to pull the trigger, you miss, you readjust, and you do it again. Okay, so we don't want to get stuck in that analysis paralysis. From there, once you are becoming a student, you're consuming all this content, you need to put it into practice. You need to apply what you're learning. Be intentional about writing down 1 to 3 actionable steps that you're going to start implementing. Now, when we're implementing these new things that we learn, you guys need to be consistent, and you guys will understand this analogy being in the beauty industry. It's like skincare. If you send your client home with a new regimen, new cleanser, exfoliator, the serums, all the things, and they go home and they use it one time, are they going to receive any results? Are they going to move towards their goal? No, we know that's not going to happen. Skincare is consistency over time, okay? Learning, becoming a student, and progressing towards our goals is consistency over time as well. You need to be willing to put in the work, take the action, and continue to do it even when you're not seeing results yet. And Chance and I, my husband, we have been actually today, during this recording, is 1 year mark exactly from when we decided. For me personally, I feel like I hit a rock bottom mentally, physically, all of it. I was just done. I was at my breaking point. I was done being overweight. And not only because of the aesthetics of that, but what that resulted in. I wasn't wanting to do certain activities with my kids because of my weight. I always was complete. I had nothing to wear. My self-confidence was in the ground, it was non-existent. It was affecting my business, affecting my marriage, affecting my relationship with my kids. I felt like crap. I was tired. I wasn't me. I lost who Bree was. So today's the 1 year mark. Now, if I would have stopped at even a lot of people stop after a couple weeks, but even at month 3, like I was feeling the mental change for sure, which is what helped keep me going. But if I was just in it for like the aesthetics of it, I wasn't necessarily seeing major results yet. We didn't start having people like actually come up to us and be like, oh my gosh, I see such a huge difference in you guys until about a couple months ago, which is our 10 months into our journey. Could you, like, I would have been kicking myself. I would have been so upset if I know now what I could have achieved if I didn't do that, because I stopped being consistent because I wasn't seeing the results yet. So you guys really need to just commit 110% and continue to take action, build those habits, be consistent, even when the results are not coming yet. So learning to be okay with delayed gratification is going to be like astronomical to your success. So highly encourage you guys just to be consistent, keep going, even when you're not seeing the results yet. And then lastly, we want to make sure that we're reflecting regularly. So as human beings, we have a very short span of staying motivated. Now, if you've listened to me or followed me for any point, you know that I do not love the word motivation because that's a feeling and feelings come and go. What I really encourage you guys and would like to see is you guys start building discipline. So discipline is creating new habits, doing things that you know you need to do even when you don't feel like doing them, when you don't want to do them. But we have about a 3-month span. So when you start running a business and company and leadership, I'm learning a lot about leadership right now. I've noticed that most successful companies, every 3 months, they really put in the effort to re-motivate, re-inspire their team. Because at first you're so pumped up, you're so excited for this new venture, and then it starts to fizzle out. So creating the discipline, creating the habits is so important. And then reflecting back and reevaluating, I would recommend quarterly to reevaluate. Okay, what's my strength? Go back down this list again of self-evaluation. We're going to reflect what's my strengths, what's my weaknesses, my values. Has that changed? Has it stayed the same? Values normally don't change much. Your values are your values, but you want to reevaluate this, reread it, like just ingrain that into your brain, and then reevaluate your goals as well. So every 3 months, I highly recommend reflect, look back, and then continue on with your personal development. You guys need to become lifelong learners. There's no destination to this. This is a lifelong journey, and it's very difficult and hard, but so rewarding. So let's talk about hard for a second. Life is hard. It's hard to be broke. It's hard to have money and manage it. It's hard to work for someone else. It's hard to work for yourself. Life is hard. So you guys need to decide today, what hard are you going to choose? And for me, I know that working for myself, providing for my family in this way is my hard that I choose, because I am so just thrilled and happy with the results that it brings. It brings so much more fulfillment. I have a sense of purpose, and it keeps me going and helps, get me out of bed every day. So choose your hard. Too many people are so afraid of hard and they want to look for the easy life, but their life isn't easy. Like, hate to break it to you. I wish it were different, but it's just what it is. Life is hard. So choose your hard and choose the hard that's going to help get you closer to your goals, and stop being scared of doing hard things. Embrace it. Run into the hard. Every time we do something hard, there's so much growth on the other end of it. And you just have to put things into perspective. You're not going to die. Okay. That's why I always tell myself, is this going to kill me? No. Okay. We will survive it. We will get through it. Yes, we might make mistakes. Yes, it might be embarrassing, but guess what? We are all humans. We all have those experiences. When you show up authentically, it's not about us. It's not about me. It's about the person on the other side of the screen. What message do you have for them that person needs to hear that day? They're not looking at your flyaways on your hair and what outfit you're wearing. They need to hear your message. So show up authentically, be yourself, and you will find your right people that needs to hear your message specifically. Like I said, it's going to be an ongoing journey of growth and improvement, and you want to become obsessively become a student of the game, whatever that game is. beauty industry, building your business, becoming a better parent, becoming a better spouse, whatever it is, be obsessive over it, you guys, and just be a lifelong learner. So if you guys found any value of this today, please share it. I would love for you to share. I hope you join us on future episodes. My DMs are always open, you guys. You can reach out and find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and please make sure you like, follow, and subscribe. See you next time.